Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a story that, well, on the surface, it looked like the ultimate rags to riches fairy tale.
Yeah, you had this couple seemingly from humble beginnings.
Right. And they build this immense wealth, and their journey gets celebrated, across prominent media platforms.
Sounds genuinely inspiring, doesn't it?
Totally. But what if that polished narrative hides something far more intricate, maybe even troubling?
A story that doesn't just challenge our idea of success.
It also raises these really deep questions about journalism, public accountability, even like the fabric of public trust.
Exactly, and that's what we're dissecting today with the remarkable and often perplexing story of the Disgaea couple.
Yeah.
It's truly a fascinating case study, really, because it shows us how several distinct threads can intertwine.
Like what specifically?
Well, you've got personal ambition, right? Then government infrastructure projects, these high-profile media portrayals, and the dynamic political landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Together, they kind of create this tapestry that forces us to critically examine how information is constructed, how it's presented, and ultimately how it's perceived by the public.
Absolutely. So for this deep dive, we've gathered a stack of sources, interviews, news reports, Senate investigation transcripts.
The real mix.
And our mission, really, is to extract the most crucial nuggets of knowledge from all this.
Yeah.
We'll trace the Disgaea's rapid ascent.
Explore that controversial media coverage that put them in the spotlight.
Delve into the, frankly, startling revelations from a Senate investigation.
And finally, look at the significant political responses that followed.
Yeah, our goal is basically to guide you through this complex saga.
Right.
Help you connect the dots.
Right. So you walk away with a clear, insightful understanding.
Exactly, without feeling, totally overwhelmed by just the sheer volume of information. So let's begin where the Disgaeas themselves started their public narrative. In a widely discussed interview with Julius Babao back in September 2024, Sarah and Curly Disgaea painted this picture of classic entrepreneurial grit.
Right. And when Babao asked Sarah about the gateway to a better life, her response was very direct.
Yeah, really impactful. She said, "Nung nug DPWH kami."
Which translates to, when we started with the Department of Public Works and Highways.
Simple as that. Then Curly elaborated a bit.
He did. He said they simply bid for projects, worked hard, and, gradually expanded their construction business.
They presented themselves as pretty seasoned operators, too, claiming, what was it?
2 decades, specifically 23 years in the construction industry.
Okay.
Their stories suggested they started small, tackling local government projects first, before eventually securing major DPWH contracts around 2012.
And by 2016.
By 2016, they stated they were consistently winning significant flood control projects. And that, by their own account, became the cornerstone of their, rapidly expanding fortune.
And here's where the story takes its first, let's say, intriguing turn. While their narrative sounded like that quintessential Filipino dream, hard work leads to prosperity,
Right.
The sheer speed and the scale of their wealth accumulation, especially its direct link to these DPWH projects, well, it almost immediately sparked skepticism.
It wasn't just a few isolated critics either.
No, not at all. You could feel this palpable sense of doubt rippling through social media, public discourse. People are openly commenting things like, the fact that they got rich through the DPWH is already a red flag.
That early public reaction is really significant. It points to this pre-existing, maybe deep-seated public mistrust in government contracts.
Especially infrastructure projects, right?
Especially large-scale infrastructure.
Yeah.
For many, the DPWH isn't just a government agency, it's kind of a potent symbol of potential exploitation, maybe past scandals where public funds seem to enrich a select few instead of serving the common good.
So for the Disgaeas, their declared source of success, the DPWH, didn't just signal hard work to everyone.
No, it tapped into this collective memory of systemic issues. It immediately raised questions, not just, inspire admiration.
It became like a deeply ingrained cultural suspicion almost from the get-go.
Pretty much, right from the start.
That public questioning only intensified when the Disgaeas moved from, one interview to a much bigger stage.
Right. They became these high-profile figures.
Yeah, prominently featured on Karina Sanchez's hugely popular shows,
Right.
Rated Karina in November 2024.
And Karina interviews in January 2025.
And these appearances weren't just interviews, were they? They felt different.
No, they were glossy, almost cinematic portrayals that really amplified their story. presented them as these aspirational symbols of success.
Complete with tours of their lavish lifestyle.
And that's precisely when the narrative truly began to, well, unravel. It led to a major confrontation.
Okay, set the scene.
In August 2025, Mayor Vico Soto of Pasig City, he's known for his anti-corruption stance.
Right.
He publicly and very directly rebuked both Julius Babao and Karina Sanchez. He didn't just question the content. He outright alleged that these interviews were paid placements.
Paid placements?
Yeah, hinting at a staggering figure, something around 10 million exchanged for airtime.
Whoa, okay.
This accusation immediately cast a very harsh spotlight on the media's role, their ethical responsibilities.
I bet it did. The fallout must have been immediate.
Oh, absolutely. Julius Babao quickly responded. He clarified that his segment was just a lifestyle feature, distinct from a hard news report.
Okay, that's his angle.
He maintained its sole intent was just to inspire viewers, showcasing a classic rags to riches story, and he flatly denied any payment, absolutely none.
And Karina Sanchez's team.
Their production team issued an even sharper rebuttal. They called Soto's claims slanderous and openly threatened cyber libel charges.
Really doubling down.
Completely. They vigorously asserted their adherence to journalistic integrity, insisted the Disgaea story was chosen purely based on its genuine public interest and, aspirational qualities.
This whole exchange, though, Soto's allegations, the media's defense, it forces you to look beyond just the question of payment, right?
Absolutely. You have to consider the much broader implications for media ethics, for public trust.
Like that journalism professor pointed out.
Exactly. The issue extends beyond media ethics, touching on how narratives can obscure deeper political and financial concerns. That's the quote.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? When a lifestyle feature showcases these lavish homes, luxury cars, is it inadvertently creating this powerful veneer of legitimacy?
Does it make it harder for the public to question the origins of that wealth?
Especially when there are already rumors or this existing public mistrust swirling around. It feels like a really fine line.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
The distinction between a lifestyle feature and news report isn't just, semantics.
No.
It's central to the very bedrock of journalistic ethics. A lifestyle feature often prioritizes inspiration, entertainment, a positive spin.
Whereas
News demands rigorous verification, impartiality, a commitment to presenting all sides of a story.
When the former, the lifestyle piece, is used to promote figures who might already be under public scrutiny or connected to public funds, that line blurs dangerously.
It can inadvertently lend credibility, I guess.
Yes, credibility to individuals who might warrant deeper investigation. And that ultimately erodes public trust in media as a whole.
So it raises that question for all of us.
When does a feel-good story inadvertently become a vehicle that maybe shields certain truths?
That blurring of lines really created a perfect storm. And it wasn't long before the questions shifted from media ethics to something far more formal.
More demanding.
Yeah, a full-blown legislative investigation. In early September 2025, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee resumed its nationally televised probe.
And their focus turned specifically to flood control contractors.
And the Disgaeas were square in their sights.
The senators were clearly determined to peel back the layers of the Disgaea's rapid wealth accumulation.
Especially given that self-professed humble beginning story. Right. One of the most striking details to emerge during those hearings was the extent of their reported possessions.
The cars.
The cars. At least 28 luxury vehicles, an astonishing collection.
Including high-end SUVs.
And even a Rolls-Royce. This display of immense affluence stood in such stark contrast to that modest origin story they presented in the media.
28 luxury vehicles. That's a staggering figure. Senator Jinggoy Estrada, in particular, really honed in on this disparity.
What did he do?
He directly questioned Sarah Disgaea, pointedly contrasted her past, which she had described as being a dental receptionist working abroad, with a current ownership of dozens of expensive cars, all acquired within just a few years of entering those DPWH contracts.
Wow. That's a powerful contrast.
It was a powerful moment, definitely designed to highlight the dramatic and for many, improbable shift in their fortunes in such a short time.
But as the committee dug deeper, the revelations became even more concerning.
Yeah, it wasn't just about the lifestyle anymore.
Yeah, indeed. The committee's deep dive into their records unearthed patterns far more troubling than just lavish spending. It pointed to significant administrative issues.
Like what?
They discovered that several companies linked to the Discayas had a documented history of administrative violations.
Okay.
Most critically, a DPWH suspension had been issued against one of their key companies way back in 2015
Right.
for submitting falsified documents.
Falsified documents, that's not a minor thing?
No, not a minor administrative lapse. It's a fundamental breach of trust. It indicates a deliberate attempt to mislead the government.
And here's the truly astonishing part, isn't it? The detail that really underscores maybe systemic failures.
Go on.
Despite that clear suspension for falsified documents, the Discayas companies still managed to secure new contracts.
Seriously, while suspended.
Yes, we're talking about an incredible euro 440.5 million in public funds, awarded during the very period they were supposed to be ineligible for government work.
It beggars belief. How could a company with such a serious black mark continue to win bids for vital public infrastructure?
It absolutely does. This discovery makes you ask not just how it could happen,
But what systemic failures allowed it? Allowed companies with a documented history of fraud to keep winning bids for public projects.
Yeah, it points to potential loopholes in the blacklisting process, maybe.
Or a lack of integrated databases across government agencies, or perhaps even just using different company names to bypass existing bans.
These are the kinds of questions that highlight a broader vulnerability, right, within public contracting systems.
Yeah, allowing bad actors to slip through the cracks and continue to profit from taxpayer money despite clear violations.
And it wasn't just the DPWH looking into them, was it?
No. Beyond the DPWH, the Bureau of Customs, the BOC, also initiated probes.
What were they looking at?
They began inspecting the Discayas' imported luxury vehicles, trying to verify proper declaration and taxation. So it added another layer of financial scrutiny to the couple's activities.
Okay, so these revelations from the Senate hearing quickly spilled over into the broader political landscape.
Made the Discaya story even more interconnected, more impactful.
We saw this play out vividly in the 2025 local elections. Sarah Discaya herself decided to run for mayor of Pasig City,
Right, she threw her hat in the ring.
but she was decisively defeated by the incumbent, Vico Soto.
Notably, the very same Vico Soto who had publicly called out those media interviews just months earlier.
That's quite the turn of events.
Soto's victory, especially coming right after the media storm and the Senate hearings, it really reinforced his position. It validated his stance.
So, post-election and after the Senate probe,
He continued to emphasize the profound ethical concerns surrounding those media interviews. He argued consistently that even if the interviews weren't technically illegal, in terms of payment, they were shameful and, in his view, had eroded journalistic credibility. His win gave him a clear mandate, signaling public support for his transparency advocacy.
So what does this all mean for us, the listeners, beyond the headlines and the election results? Soto's message really broadens our understanding of where corruption can take root.
How so?
He stressed that corruption isn't just confined to government offices or political circles.
Okay.
Instead, he argued that it permeates broader institutions, including media, suggesting that seemingly innocuous platforms can sometimes be unwittingly or maybe wittingly used to sanitize images or obscure deeper issues.
It's a powerful call for the public, then.
Yeah, to remain vigilant across all sectors, not just those traditionally associated with graft.
Exactly. And this raises an incredibly important question for everyone listening right now.
Which is?
In an age of just pervasive information, where do we draw the line? How do we discern genuine inspiration and legitimate success from narratives that might be strategically crafted?
Or maybe just inadvertently function to obscure underlying political or financial concerns.
Precisely. It's a call for critical thinking from every single one of us. To look beyond the polished surface of what's presented, whether it's an inspiring personal story or a seemingly straightforward political claim.
Yeah. This deep dive into the Discayas story, it truly makes you think about the narratives we consume every single day.
We've seen how easily the lines can blur between genuine wealth and, let's say, questionable access.
The absolutely critical role media ethics play in shaping public perception.
And the pervasive nature of systemic corruption that can touch even seemingly unrelated institutions.
Ultimately, this entire saga really underscores the profound importance of accountability.
Not just in public works,
but throughout our society.
And that leads us to a final, maybe provocative thought for you, the listener. to carry with you.
Okay, what is it?
How do you personally evaluate the credibility of an inspirational story, especially when it involves figures who are connected to public funds or government contracts?
What specific signs, what details, or maybe what gut feelings do you look for?
Yeah, things that might signal a deeper, perhaps more complex layer to the narrative than what initially meets the eye.
It's crucial for all of us, I think, to cultivate that sense of curiosity.
And critically engage with the information we encounter in our daily lives, always pushing ourselves to look beyond the surface.